they're noisy. This one's not too bad, but we can.
But that one hurts your back too, right?
Well, this is not too bad. I can sit in it for a few hours. I generally stand up in the breaks and that.
In Ford on Gamble. Stock number 03 Focus 14353 04 07 Navigator 1439708 05 Mazda 3. Friends and Neighbors pricing excludes Raptor, MKC, and fleet deals. On approved credit, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/2/2014.
Have you heard about Valpak.com? It's the online version of the famous Valpak Blue Envelope with even more great offers. At Valpak.com, you could find savings for your home, coupons for eating out,
table for two,
or maybe even discounts on gardening services. To discover today's savings for yourself, just log on to www.valpak.com.
Check out Valpak Values, Allstate Insurance, Papa John's Pizza, Alaska Card Transport, Party Craft, Great Alaska Pizza, Tire Factory, and Creative Audio and Remote Starts.
Alaska's Energy, America's Values, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com. Mark Begich is unbelievable.
Washington thinks it knows what's best for Alaska, and that's what I'm fighting against every day.
Fighting? Begich voted for all Obama's appointments, like Sally Jewell as Secretary of the Interior. Jewell immediately said no to exploration in Anwar and no to a King Cove road. Begich didn't fight Washington. He rolled over, like he rolled over for Obamacare. Now Begich is trying to duck and hide. On Obamacare, on oil taxes, on cap and trade, on the IRS scandal, even on Anwar. How can you deliver Anwar, Mark, when Harry Reid says a Democrat-controlled Senate will never allow an Anwar vote? Alaskans can't trust a thing Begich says. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan.
If you're ready for the movies, there's just one place to go. Check out moviesacre.com. It's showtime, movie times, previews, and more. Get tickets, friends stuff, lots of information to explore. Great restaurants. Now you know
Ryan.
Before and after every show. Check out moviesacre.com. It's showtime.
Are you ready? Dan Fagan and Glen Biegel are here. They're gonna tear it up, rip it down, and shoot it straight. Fagan and Biegel in the morning on Hot Talk KOAN. And now, Fagan and Biegel.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to another the world famous Glen Biegel, Dan Fagan, Bonnie Cameron radio morning talk show. Good morning, all.
Top billing today, I got. You hear that?
What was that?
I got top billing.
Oh, did I accidentally say your name first?
Oh,
I did not mean to do that. Yeah. I did not.
That means something.
I don't ever want that to happen again.
That was subconscious.
It's going to be good.
No, that's not. That's
very exciting.
Actually, I'm going to have to say your name last now for a whole week.
All right.
Even after Brian's.
But we'll still know that you're only doing it because I was first.
How you doing in there, Brian?
I'm good. Trying to get
in the bat cave.
Dialed in.
Trying to beat all the bats down.
Brian, paying him too much. He's got one sweet ride. You seen his new ride?
Did he get a new car?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I had a nice car and the engine blew up, so the dealer replaced it because it was less than a year old.
Why'd you blow your engine up?
I don't know what happened.
That doesn't make any sense.
I changed my oil.
Yeah?
Yeah, it just started making noise on the way to work.
There's this great video on YouTube where this woman walks out of the convenience store and opens a bottle of oil and just pours it all over the top of the engine.
What? That's not real.
Oh, it's always real.
Although it could be.
Real.
I actually accidentally put wallpaper glue in the windshield wiper fluid container one
seriously?
time. Yeah. Well,
how could that possibly be?
I did it. I was about 16.
Oh, okay. You did it as a prank then.
No, I accidentally did it. My dad told me to fill the windshield water, the windshield fluid tank. And so the wallpaper glue was in the same type of container.
Yeah.
And he said, be sure and dilute it a little bit. And I was like, well, if I don't dilute it, it'll work even better.
Oh, there you go. That's the mind of Bonnie Cameron at work right there.
So I poured it in, and then it was like glooping all over the windshield.
No, this sounds like a Bill Cosby, where his wife forced him to get up in the morning and make breakfast for the kids, so he gets up and makes and serves them cake.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
So that he'll never ever have to do it again, because he knows that his wife's going to be mad, but he's talking himself into this. Oh, well, in the cake there's wheat and milk and eggs, and that all has to be good for you.
Balanced breakfast.
I'm going to give them cake, and then lasers or fire shoots out of her eyes, and she tells him to go back to bed, which is where he wanted to be anyway.
I love Cosby.
I cannot stand Cliff Huxtable.
What?
He is. I honestly hate the man.
Are you an American?
Now here's the thing on Bill Cosby and Cliff Huxtable. The Cosby Show is one of the best done sitcoms in the history of America. I don't know broadcast that has done more good for our culture than the Cosby Show.
Right.
It showed a father who was strong.
Mm-hmm.
It showed a mother who was strong. It showed a family that was strong. It was a great model. Like Everybody Loved Raymond, where the dad's a boob and everybody's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
That it was a black family too.
Right.
Black community that this is the way you're like.
So Married with Children is not a good model?
No. It's the complete antithesis of that. But I cannot stand Cliff Huxtable and Cosby. And this says more about me than the show. I actually had this thought last night. And I don't know why. I don't know where this thought. I have thoughts that fly in and out of my head all the time. Mm-hmm. Most of them crash and burn. But the thought that I had was, the reason I got married is because I wanted to be Cliff Huxtable.
And now you hate him?
Yeah, because my marriage lasted like 12 minutes. I rushed into marriage because I so badly wanted to be Cliff Huxtable.
How old were you?
19.
Serious?
No, I was a little older.
All right.
But I was not much.
19.
So he's
I watched that show
downfall.
and I thought, gosh, it'd be so cool.
So it was too hard to
have
attain.
a family like that.
You couldn't attain it?
Well, I picked the wrong woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to get married.
Oh.
So I'm like, there's a woman. Come here. What's your name?
Let's go to Vegas.
How about you and I become the Huxtable family? Start popping out kids. Fortunately, we didn't have kids. It's hard to have children within a 12-minute span. But so honestly, that's the reason I got married. I wanted to be Cliff Huxtable.
Well, that's understandable. It was fun. My kids have discovered the Cosby Show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
My favorite line in there with Theo. No. The greatest scene, and we may pull this, Brian, and it's when Theo, his only son, is talking about how that dad, you and mom, you're a lawyer, mom's a doctor, or you're a doctor, mom's a lawyer, and maybe I'm just meant to be average, and maybe I'm just supposed to be an average person who doesn't get straight A's, and it's this real compelling speech, right?
Right.
And the crowd obviously sucked into it, And he said, I'm just doing my best, and maybe I'm not like you, Mom. And Cliff stops and he looks at Theo and goes, Theo, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it's like totally took away.
You thought he was going to buy it.
You're going to sit in this room and you are going to study, and you're going to study till you're hurting.
Like, nice try.
Right. It was just a great scene, and it's the scene that ends. He says, son, I brought you into this world. I will take you out.
I wish more fathers would say that.
I know. I know. So yeah, it's a great sitcom, great show. All right, who wants to have the wind knocked out of their sails?
No.
Can I have a Pop-Tart while you do it?
Who wants to feel like they just got kicked in the gut?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
I'm up for it.
Middle of the week.
I got some bad news.
I'm gonna tighten up, Brian.
Just so we don't
Pop-Tart.
get too. I don't want anybody to get too excited about their life and be optimistic and feel good about things. I want to bring it down.
Here's the hopeless segment.
Let's bring some hopelessness into the situation. I read on AmandaCoinBlock.com last night that in a debate between Sean Parnell and Bill Walker, Sean Parnell has said he is going to vote yes on the minimum wage bill.
Yep.
That'll do it. That did it for me. Thanks a lot, Dan. Wednesday's ruined.
Yeah.
People are caving all over the place.
What's wrong with these people, Glenn?
They don't think it matters, is my guess. And they don't want to take the time. Is it the governor's job to try and re-educate someone Yeah, I guess. But in the end, you know, there are things that you can do and things that you can't do.
It's his job to take a stand for freedom.
Yeah. This is a big deal to you. The minimum wage is a big deal to you.
I don't like government. Look, Keith Montenonk has been at work for about 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be at his place of employment till about 6:30 tonight. That's what entrepreneurism is about. You worked your butt off. He'll probably have a mechanic call in sick today, which means he'll have to go in there and work on his cars. I remember the guy who owned Applebee's told me once. He said, I said, it must be really fun having a restaurant. He said, yeah, if you like being a dishwasher. So what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I'm in there 2-3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's dishwashers, you can't keep them. So I'm in there washing dishes.
Hmm.
You get paid last. You risk everything. And for the government to come in and take these heroes of our economy who say, I will take the risk so that other families can put food on their table, and the government to come after them, it absolutely drives me. You're right, Glenn. It's a big deal to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of the biggest deals for you, and that's because people, first of all, I don't know that small business...
We're up against
okay,
6:14. Right. Stay with us.
First of all, I don't know that small business...
We're up against
okay,
6:14.
Right.
Stay with us.
Is an Alaskan-owned, nationally recognized top 500 construction and remodel firm. From our handyman services to our award-winning kitchen design and remodel, Trail Boss Solutions is fully licensed, bonded, and insured, and has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion on time and on budget.
For flashy media events, Kathy Giesel hits the books just like she did in nursing school. For the past 4 years, Senator Giesel has worked hard for you, studying the impact of greater access to immunizations for Alaska's kids, crafting legislation that frees up business owners to expand and hire more Alaskans, and working to improve the infrastructure like roads and schools. Not just for this generation, but for generations of Alaskans to come. This election is more than just about promises or bullet points. It's about sending the right person to Juneau with the character to act on behalf of us when we can't watch. We need someone with the character to do the hard work when no one is watching, to make decisions we can trust. We need to re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel.
Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for Senate. 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
The Alaskan defender of family, firearms, and the freedom of speech, Eddie Berg.
I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you're married to. I don't care what goes on in your private life. The only thing I care about is how you're going to vote, because that's the only thing that affects
Berg and Friends on Hot Talk, KOAN, 95.1 FM, 1080 AM. You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk.
Friendster, lots of information to explore. Great restaurant.
.617 in the AM. Bonnie Cameron, Dan Fagan, Brian Hoff's here.
Oh, and Glen Biegel.
Oh, is Glenn here? Oh, there he is.
Hold on a second. I'm going to look at my computer.
569-1080. 569-1080 is the number. We're talking about Mr. Parnell, who I just think is such a good, decent human being. I look at the guy, you sit across from him, you talk to him, you hear the way he's calm, and he's just reserved. He's just one of these guys you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing against the man personally. But in the debate in Juneau yesterday, he came out and said that he's going to vote yes on the minimum wage bill.
Did we have a clip of that? Because I really would like to hear it. Didn't he give a reason for it?
No, well, all Amanda reports is that both Parnell and Walker said they will be voting yes on the minimum wage bill.
Yeah. because I really would like to hear it. But anyway, the point I was trying to make before is I don't really think small business people. First of all, very few people are small business people. Very few people have put their lives together well enough to be anything other than an employee. Right? I mean, you think about it. It takes 3 years of savings. You have to save your entire salary for 3 years before you can get your business. Probably not going to make money for the first 5 years.
Well, I don't know. That's always true.
You got to scrape. Well, I mean, that basically is what happens. Most businesses fail.
Yeah.
70 to 80% of them fail. It's just not easy. Most people are not made for that. And so, kind of like the military, where we have such a small percentage of people who go into the military, most people don't have a lot of experience with it. And the problem is that small business people are not making their case. You know who makes the case for the, quote, small business person? Politicians. We're for the small business group. We're for this.
They never are.
And they never are.
No.
And that's the one thing. I don't mind people being for a minimum wage, but I mean, I mind it. It doesn't help anything. It's going to hurt people's ability to get their first job for sure, and will close down some small businesses. But what I don't want them to say is, I'm for the minimum wage increase, to God only knows what, but I'm for small business too. You can't say both of those things. Just stop saying you're for small business if you're for a minimum wage increase to this level.
You know, I've been doing a lot of this Ken Burns thing on FDR on public television. Anybody seen any of that?
No.
This Ken Burns, he's just he's such a talented storyteller, but he's so wrong on FDR. And so I've been researching a lot on FDR recently. Did you know that Franklin Delano Roosevelt? I told you the other day that he, right after the stock market crash, he had an executive order that anything you earn over $25,000, the government keeps 100% of. Congress balked, and it went to 90%. Of course, that prolonged the depression. But did you also know that FDR proposed? It was not adopted, but he proposed that the government begins to and there was what do you call it? There were buffers there. But the government was going to begin to determine the salaries businesses could pay employees. Now, it was based on industry, and there was a buffer there. You know, if you own a construction business, you can pay your carpenter between $12,000 and $18,000 a year, and all that. That's how big government FDR was. He honestly wanted to regulate and control salaries. So that. There's a group of people, there's a movement, and it's the Mark Bagus, Barack Obama movement, that honestly believes that government so knows better than people that it should determine salaries. And that the minimum wage is the tip there. The fact that we let the government even allow them to set the minimum wage is just a perfect illustration of the government saying, I don't trust you.
So what was the public's opinion on that?
Well, it didn't pass Congress. Congress didn't. I mean, FDR was unsuccessful in getting it passed.
It's hard for me to believe that there was a time in this nation's history where there was somebody really that liberal and that.
Oh, FDR was
progressive and yeah.
Yeah, but that's the party, Bonnie. Listen, let me tell you something. If Barack Obama and Mark Bagus could get away with it politically, they would confiscate every gun in this country tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get away with it, they would tax anybody making more than $100,000 a year 90% tomorrow.
Other than themselves.
Exactly. Anything they could get away with, cap and trade, they only propose what they think they can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea how radical these guys really are, because they are tampered and buffered by political realities.
And the Constitution.
Well, not really. Not with John Edwards
so much.
Yeah. Not with
Roberts.
John Roberts, and yeah, I mean, honestly.
Well, the real problem with the minimum wage, by the way, is what they're saying to businesses: if someone does not add value to the economy, right? If they only add a little bit of value, you're not allowed to employ them. That's really what they're saying. Because if they say, well, you have to pay somebody $9.75 an hour, you say, well, they only create $7.50 worth of value.
Mm-hmm.
They say, well, then you can't employ them. And you say, okay, well, I guess I can't employ you. I would, but I can't. That's what they're saying.
I've never heard it put that way. That is brilliant.
Well,
that's
the
why
essence.
I listen to the Dan Fagan, Bonnie Cameron, Brian Hoff show.
But that's essentially it. And now the left will look at it and say you need money in order to live, so that the business provide you a certain amount of money, for them to be able to. The business
becomes a charity.
The business becomes a charity. The business becomes a stand-in for government welfare. They're saying, well, even if they can't provide you $9.75 an hour in value, you still have to pay them that so that we don't have to pay them that through the welfare system. That's basically what they're saying. I really think, first of all, I think that that's better kept in the welfare system because it's such a small, teeny tiny little percentage, A. B, some people are 16 years old and they have no idea how to create value for business. They don't know how to show up on time. They don't know how to do anything. They need that first job so they can get an understanding. Plus, to me, it's one of the most important parts of your education. Your first job helps you understand so much more about how the country works, what it means to trade your time for money, and that if I get a better education, I can trade less of my time for more money. You string things together so dramatically during that first job that if you don't have it at 15, 14, 15, 16, and you've got to wait till it's 19 or 20, you have lost a critical opportunity to understand I have to trade my time for something. I got to get a good education.
I've never heard it put that way. You are literally putting the entrepreneur in the position of, okay, you provide so much value, the government says we need to give more money. You are causing that entrepreneur to literally be a charity, a charitable organization. I want to go back to what Bonnie said about she can't believe that there was a time in the country when there were people who were that liberal. Let me tell you what is the most liberal piece of legislation that I've known about on a federal level in recent years, and Don Young supported it, is the Employee Free Choice Act. This piece of legislation, which is all for the labor unions, right now, you want to form a union, you take a secret vote, take a secret ballot. If enough people, if people say they want to form, then you become a union. Let's say a pizza place, you got 30 employees. 16 say, yeah, we want to unionize, then you become a union. But then you can still, as an owner, you can fire everybody. But what the Employee Free Choice Act said is that they can do away with the secret ballot. If they could get 16 people to sign a card, then that pizza shop would become a union shop.
So 50% plus one.
50%, and I think there was a 50 employee minimum.
It'd be a minimum.
But let's say Uncle Joe's Pizza that has 5 branches around. They probably got a couple hundred employees. So let's say Uncle Joe's Pizza. The union thugs, that's wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. They can just get, let's say Uncle Joe's Pizza has 200 employees. They can get 101 people just to sign a card. Just sign this card, sign this card. And they work within, they get hired for this purpose. They plant people in there. Here's what happens to Uncle Joe's Pizza. They become a union shop, mandatory. This is under this new law. From that point on, the owner of Uncle Joe's Pizza, if he wants to do anything infecting the employees, raises, change policy about time off, overtime, and the union steward, who's appointed by the employees, does not agree with the owner, then the union steward and the owner of the company have to go to a federal mediator with the Department of Labor, and the federal mediator makes the final decision, and it's binding. Wow. Now, that was a piece of legislation that Don Young voted yes for. It did not pass in the House, fortunately. It would have flown in the Senate, and Obama loved it. Now, that's even more leftist than what FDR appointed or proposed, because you're literally putting a federal mediator in charge of a local business. Folks, that was proposed by the left. Now, the media, of course, they never explained it as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reality of the situation.
Why did he vote for that?
Well, he's a big union guy, and I think he probably knew it wasn't going to pass. Alaska's unions are so powerful here in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can get away with not pissing off the unions, you can do it, and it won't pass. But that's what I'm talking about. You have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, what the Democratic Party is all about. If I could tell you one thing and you could remember anything I've ever said, you have no idea how anti-freedom this party is. I know you don't like Karl Rove, but Karl Rove's one of the guys who fought against this. You have no idea what we're dealing with Mark Begich. This guy is a communist. He's a full-blown communist, I'm telling you. If he could get away with it, he would be like Stalin. I am not exaggerating.
What amazes me is that so few people unionize with all the powers that unions have been granted.
Because they want to be rewarded for their hard work.
I don't think people like being treated like everyone else.
No.
I think that is a basic fundamental offense that no matter how hard you work, the only value that's put on you is you've been here 15 years? Okay, you get 30% more pay than the person who's been here 10 years. You get 30% more pay than the person who's been here 5 years. That is so offensive that it just cannot be squared with human nature. And that's that has to be the reason why there are so few unions, other than public sector unions.
Glen Biegel, right here in the studio. Star of the show.
Hello.
629. Say what? Biegel, right here in the studio. Star of the show.
Hello.
629. Say what? I'm telling you, there's nothing going.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
With KOAN News, I'm Ann Kenda. 2 candidates for governor have come out in favor of a ballot question to raise the minimum wage in Alaska. Incumbent Sean Parnell and challenger Bill Walker both said during a recent debate that they think it's time to raise the minimum wage from the current $7.75 per hour in steps until it reaches $9.75 in 2016. A former Palmer resident faces 88 years in
Hey everybody, we're on Hamster Cam. You get a behind-the-scenes look if you're watching on YouTube.
Worst, most thuggish unions there is. Oh, yeah, well, it's very thuggish. Okay. I was talking about the post office.
All right.
I mean, like, people would come up to him and talk to their coworkers next to him and be like, hey brother, you know how they call each other.
Require 3
Mostly cloudy, high 43. And for Sunday, high 42.
Like it's going to hurt his feelings.
News and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1.
That's all right.
Wait, what's that? Oh, that's all right. We have nothing to hide. Hey, where are you going?
I can hear him coming in.
Oh.
I could do that.
Really?
Oopsie.
Making hot tarts? If I want. The question is not if I want, then it's how many do I want?
How many can you have?
How many can I have? That's a good question.
Ooh.
No, did you did you try real butter yet? For them? Okay. I didn't think the golden soft was too bad, but
Yeah. It might not be plugged in all the way. I plugged it back in.
Ruh-roh.
It'll work fine. Oh, it's because it's your camera. Oh, I'm about to put the link up on Facebook too, so
I can still see mine. Did
Stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights.
you want to redo it? Because we're going to redo it. Let's redo it now.
go in and switch off that camera and switch back to a different camera?
Yeah, don't restart everything. Try that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can accidentally close.
Boy, just do that. Do what Glenn said. See if that works. Do what Glenn said. See if that works.
Yeah, go into the configuration, select a different camera.
Okay. Start over. All right, let's do it now. Everybody hang up.
Hung up.
Everybody hang up.